All right, welcome back. We are going to continue discussing how to use this stinking sheet. Okay, we're both controlling the prospecting and the sales calls and the company list. So that's kind of what we're going to discuss here. I want to continue diving into what you're going to be filling out here. So just to kind of give you a recap, this thing right here, so you're going to be filling this out each time per company. So the moment that you get done with one, you type this in, you're going to use the exact same box again. So if I'm going over to Appliance Repair Lease Summit, well then I'm going to use the exact same thing, and that's going to pop out a new number. And then I'm going to type that number in here, just like we've done down here. So this is actually all live stuff right here. So these 6s and 7s, that's telling us that this is going to be a targeted industry, at least that is right now. Again, don't touch really anything that's non-pink. We have all the weights going on over here. Okay, this is you can take a look at this if you're really if you're really wanting to nerd out. But again, this is all based on some if-then logic going on through here. Okay. Looks like we might have actually copied a lot of this over. So anyway, just don't mess with this too much. Oh, here we go. So this is where we come in and we're telling it to anything that's a 1 through 0 through 2, we're not touching. And then anything through a 15 through 27, we're not touching. All right, so anyway, you don't need to know a whole lot about that. I'm just trying to give you a bigger glimpse of what you're working with. I don't want you to feel like you're drinking through a water hose right now. This sheet really is not that complicated. Just you're basically just going through here. You're going over. You're going to look at Google. You're going to look at the map pack. You're going to look at the the organic listings, and you're just going to copy stuff over. So pretty cool, pretty straightforward. And it was one thing that I wanted to say here on the SEO side. So we're going to have trainings to kind of give you a little bit more information on how these are ranked. But right now, I want you to get really comfortable with this, and you are going to get very comfortable as you continue to search through here. One of the reasons, I want to give you a little bit of a reason why we built this a certain way. So, you know, how many of the companies have reviews? How many of them have websites? So, one real quick thing. So this Venus Automotive Body Shop right here, they don't have a website. Now this tells us two things. It may tell us that, hey, this industry is not as competitive as we need it to be because the companies in it don't even have websites. So clearly they're not investing into their success, which we don't even want to touch the industry. The second thing that it tells us is, look, they have 4.5 star reviews, 18 reviews, and they don't have a website. As a salesman, what am I thinking? Holy crap, why do they not have a website? Clearly they're successful, so why don't they have a website? Maybe they just have never had someone approach them about doing a website. So what I would possibly do here is keep a list, a side list of, I would write down Venus Automotive Body Shop, and I would call them up and I would say, hey, go through the spiel. And we'll talk about that here in another training, but look at this. They've got 4.5 reviews. They have people actually reviewing them. Like, why in the world do they not have a website? So I would want to go in and I would try to sell them on a website. So I wanted to make sure you know that and understood that. So anytime that you're searching through here, if you come across any kind of a situation like this, make sure you're putting that in. Okay, make sure you keep track of that. And over here in the call list, we're going to have a separate column for you to be able to type in those, and we'll get to this in a second. All right, so I think that's pretty much all I wanted to show you on the search results. Oh, reviews. So why do reviews really matter? You might think, oh, well, they look pretty, they might get people to click on them. The reviews are huge because it actually goes into ranking these in the map pack. So when a company doesn't have really any reviews, now these are just coming up because this is in a very competitive space, but when let's say we're sitting in a really competitive space where all 3 map pack companies have 50+ reviews, well, how do you think we would get in there if we try to get into that industry? We got to get more reviews than them, and we've got to get more citations, and citations are when your name, address, and phone number is listed in directories across the internet. And then we use a thing called backlinking to help grow those. So basically, those reviews are very important. Google looks at those as a form of authoritative ranking within the citations or within the map pack. Okay, so that's why we're telling this how many companies have reviews, and then how many reviews do they have, because the reviews tell us a couple different things. It tells us that the space is competitive, and then it tells us, I guess really just one thing, it tells us whether it's competitive or not, because it tells us, hey, what companies are getting all these reviews, and then if there are too many, we're going to stay out. If there are not enough, we're not going to. Sorry about that. Remember how in the welcome training we talked about how you really need to do a good job of not getting distracted? Yeah, this is, I'm at the office. This is actually one reason why I tend to not like working at the office, is because there are many distractions here. So anyway, let's get back to it. As you notice, the screen totally changed. And what I want to do is I'm going to get back to the sheet. We're going to get back to this. So anyway, we want to go ahead and start talking about the rest of the sheet. And what we're looking at down here, you're going to have your state, you're going to have your companies, and then your call list. Your call list is going to be, I'll show you, the call list is basically where we keep track of everything. So company name, the company contact, phone number, email, and the status, the location, and so forth. And then we'll also have a column in here for the website, so that'll probably change whenever you take a look at that. But what I want to show you right now is this tab. This is the Missouri Companies tab. This is everything that is in pink, again, is what you're going to be inputting directly. And what I want to show you here is that so the city is listed right here. So Kansas City, Lee Summit, Blue Springs, this is pulled in from the other page. All right? And what this is basically saying is, hey, if auto body from the previous page, if auto body was going to be in our scale, put it there. And then if it's there, so carpet installation removal fit our scale, it's what we're looking for, then put the scale. And now we're going to go ahead and find companies to put in there. Cool? And you're going to straight up be doing that through a Google search. All right. So again, this is going to be pre-populated for you. This whole list should be filled out just by you putting in these numbers. When you put in these numbers, then this is automatically going to pre-populate in here, okay? So you're going to know exactly what niche to go after, and it's going to keep a little list for you. Now, what I want to show you is how to find these companies. So let's say we target the electrician. It fits in our scale, and we're going to try to find 5 companies. Why 5? Because it may take us 5 to actually sell. And hopefully it doesn't take that many. Hopefully you sell in the first one, but sometimes it doesn't happen. And some of these could be a total dud. We have no idea. So we want to get a good list of companies on here to call on or to email, and this is where we find those companies. This is where we put them. So let's go ahead and I'll walk you through this, and let's find the electrician in Kansas City, and let's target it. So remember, we're going to do that through SERPs. Search it. And let's find what comes up. So here's the criteria of what we're looking for. We're looking for a company that is not if this is a semi-competitive industry, we don't want to go after someone who is extremely far and away the best company in there, because most likely they already have SEO help. Most likely they already have a lead generation team working with them. We're looking for companies that are right below that. And some of this is going to be your judgment. You're going to have to figure out, hey, what companies really fit our criteria? What the heck is our criteria? Our criteria is finding a company who you can kind of see is wanting to grow, but they don't really know how. And they're going to give some indications. Indications are going to be, are they advertising? This is a Google AdWords. So the very first 2 or 3 results are usually always going to be an ad. These companies say, hey, I'm interested in investing. A lot of times these websites, they suck. These guys are advertising typically because they're not ranking down here. Now, that's not always the case. Sometimes there are some very successful companies that know what they're doing, and they're doing Google AdWords. But most of the time, When you find a company up here that's advertising and is not in the citations, not in the map pack, and is also not in organic, then we have a pretty good idea that, hey, you know what, these are people who understand digital marketing, they understand Google AdWords, but yet they don't know enough to really rank the website. They don't know enough to get in here. So let's take a look. Here is rselect, gosh, that's a terrible domain name. I have no idea what that even is. So RS Electric Corp. So we are going to go see if this is in the map pack first off. No, they're not in the map pack. And let's look for, what was it again? RS Electric Corp. Whoops. RS. Okay, so they're not on page 1. What does this tell me? Well, this is a very good, this is a perfect target. Someone who's advertising, keep clicking on that tab, someone who's advertising but is not ranking. And what I want to do now, so SERPs only lets you see the first page. When I hit this next, I open a new tab because I wanted to show you here. But basically, when I hit next, it automatically is going to bring in my local now. So wherever I am in the city, it's now going to pull up that specific location. And it's not going to use my cookies. It's not going to use my search results. And that's okay for page 2, page 3, page 4. That's fine. So go ahead and hit that next button, and we can go ahead and we're going to go ahead and find it. Okay, so we're looking for this RS. Where are they? I keep forgetting the name. This is a terrible domain name. So RS Electric Corp. We're looking for where they're ranked, just to get an idea of how interested they might be. RS. Here they are, they're advertising again, so clearly they're paying a lot for their Google AdWords. If they're coming up on multiple spots, they are paying a buttload for. Again, they're on page 3, so they probably have this thing optimized pretty high, and clearly they have no idea what they're doing in SEO because they're not even on page 3. Are they on page 4? Maybe I missed them, but I don't think I did. I still don't see them. Again, there are the ads at the top. I'm going to do one more page, and if they're still not on page 7 here, or page 6, I guess I should say. I don't know if I just skipped a page or not. I don't know if it loaded. So I still don't see them. That was just to kind of give me an indication as to where they were. So when I do call on them, I could say, hey, you're currently sitting on page such and such. So I would want to keep those notes on that particular client, okay? But I can't even find them. So if I were the one doing this, I would call them, and that's when I would, at some point in that conversation, I would say, hey, look, you're spending a ton of money in Google AdWords, and you actually could be spending a whole lot less if we actually had your website ranking in organic and in that map listing. And so anyway, what I'm going to go ahead and do then is I'm going to copy this over. I'm going to hit Command-C on the company name, and I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to do Command-Shift-V and RS Electric Corp. Okay, so that's going to be a company that we target. All right, so now I am going to go to target company 2. And you can kind of see how I'm doing this. So I'm gonna look at the second company. This is Home Advisor. Don't care about that. ProServe Me. I don't even know what ProServe is. That might be another Home Advisor type place. MVP Electric. Is this an actual company? You're serving Belton. Call us today. Get the job done right. So this is a terrible website. I'm on it. This is a sorry excuse for a landing page. I highly doubt that they are info at generated by. This is exactly how the process goes. This is just research. I'm literally doing this in real time. I've never seen this before. This company there's not enough going on here. This makes me almost feel like this is a lead generation thing in and of itself. And the fact that this email address does not even match what's going on here. I wouldn't touch this one. It just looks too scammy to me. So I'm looking for a legit company. I'm looking for someone who is going to be interested in what we have to offer. Okay, so next step, I'm going to go to the map pack. I'm going to see if are there any companies in here that maybe are ranking in here and have a terrible website, or they don't really have that many reviews. So this A-Team Electric, they have only 3 reviews. They're coming up in the map pack, but that could just be based on the fact that I'm in a nearby location. I'm going to take a look at their website. Website doesn't look optimized. You notice there's no space under this button, so clearly they don't even know what they're doing in web design. I can be very judgmental when it comes to web design. This is not the worst site I've seen, but it's definitely not the best one that I've seen. So this is for A-Team Electric. Okay. I mean, the website's all right, but what I want to do now is I'm going to see, hey, are they listed in organic? I'm going to guess no. So they're coming up here in citations. They're coming up here in the map pack. A-Team Electric. The website is A-Team Electric KC. So I want to find out where they're at. Oh, there they are. They're actually number 5. So that's somewhat that tells me something. So they're coming in number 5. They're in the map pack, but they don't have very many reviews, and they're not number 1. So I would still target this company. They sound like, you know, they've probably been around a while. I have maybe real quick, I have this right here. I'm actually going to put this below. You're probably wondering, what the heck is this in my Google search results? This is called SEO Quake. I want you to go ahead and Google that right now, actually. Go ahead and type in SEO Quake. This is only good for Google Chrome, so make sure you're using Google Chrome. You're going to go ahead and add this. It's a plugin for your Chrome browser. So I would install SEO Quake, hit that. I actually already have it, so I'm going to hit cancel. But you'd have the extension. This is what it looks like up here. And what this is going to tell me is this going to tell me about backlinks and just some general site or domain data. All right, so the only thing you need to know right now is this number that comes up in these two right here, this LD and L. These are indicating backlinks. So the greater of a number, typically the more the people have done in their SEO. So A-Team Electric, they only have 3 backlinks. That tells me that that's probably more just organic. There's probably just people that are linking to them. A backlink is when a website other than your own, a website out there links back to you. They give you a hyperlink, and that can be through something called anchor text. That could be a naked URL. We might talk about that in a later training, but just know the only thing you need to know right here is just the fact that this is a backlink, and this indicates how much they usually do. And this has a huge bearing on how high they rank. If you'll notice this 40 right here, they have this Scott the Electrician. They've got 40 backlinks. They're doing something for their SEO. Let's go ahead and click on that and take a look at them. My guess is they have a decent looking website too. It's not terrible, but not great. But the fact that they have, you know, Visa, they're clearly a legit company. They're doing some advertising. Contact us. What are we looking at here? So clearly the fact that, I'll tell you right now, the fact that they don't have very much content on their homepage, content and length of content is very big for SEO rankings, and the fact that they hardly have any content on their homepage and they're sitting at number 4 in Google rankings, that means they probably have a team of people that are helping them. Scott the Electrician right here, 11 reviews. They're sitting 2nd in MapPack. I wouldn't go after this company. They clearly have some help. And I know that because of these backlinks. Again, 40 backlinks, that you don't get 40 backlinks just by being in business. You get 40 backlinks by actually trying, and that's what we go in and do. And the fact they're sitting at 2nd in citations, that means that, you know, they're clearly doing something. So I would not target Scott the Electrician. Okay, let's go back to A-Team Electric. I do like them. They're sitting at number 5. Seems very organic. You can go at them. Sales pitch for them is like, hey, look, you're sitting on page 1, but you're not going to generate leads sitting at, even on page 1, if you're not sitting in those 1, 2, 3, that top 3 or top 4 rankings, you're really not going to generate the leads that you need to do, or that you need to have. And the fact that you don't have very many reviews on your citation listing means that people aren't really going to click on you. You got to have those stars that are showing up. So we'll get to how to say these things to the business owner in a later in a later training. But right now, I hope I'm making sense. I'm basically just walking you through a very raw, I'm doing this research with you right now. And this is exactly how it looks. So A-Team Electric, I want to target them because they're showing up in listings, which means they've been around a little while, and they're showing up on page 1, which is good, but it's all organic. So they're clearly in business. They're a legit company. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to X out of that, X out of that. I'm going to go after A-Team Electric. So what you can also do here, we'll have a link, we'll have a place to put in the links. So we may end up, I'll go ahead and copy that over. We may end up having a separate column in here. So this looks a little different whenever you open it up and there's a place to put in a URL. Then just go with it. It's going to make sense. Don't worry. You'll be able to figure it out. We might even have a note on it whenever we send this over to you. But we may just actually have you put in the link here. We're still kind of working through that process. But anyway, so A-Team Electric. I want to find 3 more companies here. All right, let's stick with it. Let's figure out who else is here. Who else is advertising? We already looked at those 3. Nothing was really coming up. Electrician in KansasCity.com. That sounds pretty scammy. Let's figure out what that is. MVP Electric Heating and Cooling. I mean, the site actually looks. I mean, it looks like a typical service provider website. I'm trying to figure out if this is a legit company. MVP Electric, is that what this is? Yeah. Okay. So MVP Electric is the company name. I'm gonna go back over to here. Electrician in Kansas City. Are they showing up anywhere on here? No. So they're not on page 1. Let's see if they're on page 2. They're not on page 2. Are they on page 3? It's still an ad. Electrician in Kansas City. Man, they're not even on page 3. Page 4. Again, I like to look at these to get a good idea of where the company is currently ranking. And guys, the further on back they are in the Google search results is the more they need us, because they clearly have no idea what they're doing in search engine optimization. And by the looks of it, these guys have no idea what they're doing. They're just advertising on Google and not even trying to put any money toward their SEO. Electrician in Kansas City. I don't know about you, but I sure haven't found it yet. I haven't seen it. I mean, unless I'm just going too fast here. Let's go to page 8, and then we're going to stop. If you can't find it on page 8, Okay, here's what I want to do. Show you a little trick. So this is kind of weird to me that they're not showing up anywhere. So what I want to do is I'm going to go find where the site is indexed, or if it's indexed, and maybe what pages are being indexed. Now the way that I do that is I type in site, colon, I'm going to go grab this here. I'm going to grab just the domain name, and I'm going to get rid of the www and the HTTP. So I'm going back here, and we're going to see what in the world is being indexed. No space. Okay, Electrician in Kansas City. So see, they have 0 backlinks, which is clearly, they weren't anywhere to be found on those first 7 pages, which that's no surprise. If they had a backlink and they weren't on the first 7 pages, that would be really weird. And you can tell they have 0, their title tags, or their description, their title tags, not good. Okay. MVP Electric, they're just talking about this. This is not something that they're purposely doing. This is just grabbing it off their site. So Heating and Cooling LLC, yeah, this is exactly, so it's grabbing that title right there, and then it's grabbing, if you don't tell a website what to put up on Google, it's just going to grab whatever content's on there. All right. So clearly this is something we would want to go after, was what I'm getting at. So they are advertising on Google, and they're nowhere to be found. These are all the different pages that are ranking right now. So they only have 7 pages that are indexed as it is. and that's not looking good. So I'm going to type in, actually what do I want to do before I do that? Let's go back. Okay, so this is the, I'm going to grab the link, come over here, and I'm going to paste it in. Electrician in Kansas City. The company name is actually called MVP. Again, we'll probably have another column for you to put that to put the URL in. But for now, this is, you kind of get the idea, you get the gist of it. So I'm not going to keep going. I am going to keep going because right now we have just been targeting the advertisers. All right, let's go type in electrician. Let's see, electrician near me. Let's see what comes up. Okay, so we've got pro referral. That's probably not one. Again, we're looking at these advertisements. Allegiant Electric. That's probably something. Kansas City Electrician. Let's take a look at that. Okay, that looks like a legit company. This, granted, they look like they have probably had some work done. This looks very lead generation-esque, minus the content. They don't have very much content on there. So what I'm going to do is Allegiant Electric. Let's see if they're coming up anywhere. Nothing in citations. Allegiant. Thought I remember seeing them in a different search. So again, guys, just to give you another, like when someone's paying for Google AdWords and they're not ranking well on Google, that means that they're interested in paying and investing in digital marketing, but they don't really know what they're doing. Okay, so there is a big opportunity there to help someone realize, like, hey, you're spending all this money in Google AdWords when really, if you were using our lead generation website for a monthly cost, you could be generating, X amount of leads per month without having to do any Google ads. Okay, now on page 2, I'm going to X out of this. Too many tabs just drive me nuts. Electrician Casey Moe. Do you remember what we're looking for? I kind of remember. What was it? Allegiant, that's right. Allegiant Electrician. Allegiant. Normally, guys, we're going to be able to find, this is weird. Normally, you'll be able to find someone in the organic search results. It's kind of strange that they're not even popping up. But you know what? This is a pretty competitive spot. If you notice, like, there are a lot of companies in here. This is like right on the cusp of almost being too competitive to where we may not even want to touch this industry. Let's just go in and type in electrician. Maybe they're not even optimized for near me. That is a keyword phrase. So we're looking for Allegiant again. Allegiant. .net. The fact that they're on a .net is also a little. By now, I hope you've figured out that listening in real time or watching this in real time is not the best use of your time. I always play most of my videos at 1.5 speed, and I try to not talk so fast that you can't even understand me. So you can play me at 1.5 speed. I sound a lot smarter that way too, so big fan of it. Okay, these guys, they're nowhere to be found, it looks like. I could have sworn I saw them in one of our previous searches, but they're not coming up on here. All right, so let's do the same thing. We're going to do site, and we're going to grab, let's just grab that this time. Site. We're going to see if we missed them somehow. All right, let's let SEO Quake run. No, I mean, look at that. They're nowhere. This is why they're not ranking. We've got about, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words that they're actually using to try to rank with. So, and they only have 4 pages that are indexing. So clearly, Google doesn't like this whenever there's only 4 pages that are indexing. They want 25, they want 100 pages indexing on a site. That's what helps the authority ranking grow. So the fact that they are advertising on Google AdWords is very clear because they don't know a single thing of what they're doing. So we are grabbing them and we're going to go ahead and put them in target company 4. Okay, so target company 5. Instead of finding one who's advertising, what I'm just going to do now is I'm going to look for just someone who's not on page 1. So let's start jumping through and let's start looking at, let's go to page 4. So some of these companies back here, they're not doing very well. Always make sure that you're coming up with a company that is in your location. So I'm searching, this is automatically searching my location right now in Kansas City. So these aren't even companies near me. You know, I'm going to type in electrician Kansas City Mo. This is searching something else now, and I'm going to go in on page 3. Okay. Again, you got all these companies advertising. Normally there are not this many advertisers, but if there are, it's going to be a gold mine. You can just pretty much go on the advertisements. But I'm trying to give you an idea of what it looks like to do the organic searching. Lamp and light electric. This one looks like it could be one. Go ahead and X out of those. Lamp and light electric. Not a terrible looking website. Hardly any content on their homepage. Free estimate. Lamp and light electric. They're in Kansas City. Business phone number. I'll show you that here in a second on where we're going to put that. Lamp and light electric. Okay. We're just kind of taking a look at their site. You know, how bad does it look? This isn't great. Real quick, might as well show you one of our websites. Be a good idea, right? So you know, so you kind of know what the heck you're going to be selling. So this would be an example of, this is an Overland Park videography company. We pretty much will fit the exact same layout. So this is a photographer, videographer inside of Overland Park, but we're optimizing theirs for all of Kansas City, I believe. So they do weddings, they do engagement, they do family photos and so forth. But we pretty much will fit, as you can tell, these are just much. This looks, you know, hopefully not to toot our own horn here, but these websites just look way better than the crap that you've been seeing. So, you know, think about coming to one of these sites that looks like this. I'll show you one more. Carpet cleaning. Let's take a look at that. Let's see what this looks like. So, pretty basic. Big old form here. We want them to, as you can tell, like this is all funneled down to call. It's a click to call button. You notice the phone number that pops up down here when I hover over that? Yeah. So super straightforward images, tons of content. This is what helps us rank. All right. This picture down here always like makes it feel weird. Like I'm pretty sure that's grape juice or wine, but it just looks like blood and it makes me kind of gag a little bit. Ugh. I had a buddy one time that worked for a crime scene cleaners company, and he used to have this Snapchat where he would just, he would like literally take snaps of his like nasty, like triple homicide jobs that were just like blood everywhere. It was disgusting. He one time posted one with like literally human decomposed flesh. It was just anyway, I'm about to throw up here on my video. I guess it's not live. You're probably watching this way later, but anyway, sorry, getting off task. So this website right here, Lamp and Electric, they're sitting on page 2, and they're at number 23. They do have backlinks, so that tells me that they're maybe doing something. If it's under 7 to 10 backlinks, typically that's going to indicate that that they have organic stuff rolling. Anything that's like, you know, they've got 20, 25, 30, 45 and up backlinks, that means that typically there's going to be an SEO company that's already working with them, which doesn't mean that we shouldn't go after them, but it does mean that that it's going to be, they're going to be a little bit harder of a sell to get them on board. With 5 backlinks, this is probably just organic. And here's the cool thing with SEO Quake. Sometimes you can actually click on that. This is going to pull up SEMrush, which you're going to get about 5 free ones to check out. See, I've already hit my limit, and we're not paying for this yet. we may end up having an account for you at some point for this. This is something that will help you in researching, but right now it's just not worth the money. Long story short, we want to target this company. They've got a few backlinks. They're sitting on page 2, and they weren't coming up in citations, so they're not doing as much as they could. And so let's go ahead and grab this link, copy it, and let's paste it over into the electrician. All right. I want to make these a little bigger because it drives me nuts whenever I can't see all of them. All right, cool. So now we've filled out the electrician space for these 5 target companies, and you're going to do this for all of these. Okay, so it can be kind of a tiresome process, but I mean, throw some music in, put your earphones on, and go to town. I mean, listen to your favorite music, whatever. You can listen to a podcast. This really doesn't take much brain work. It's just once you get the hang of it, it's really easy. You're just going to go in and research and put in companies. Now, from there, what we're going to do, you can do this one of 2 ways. You can do it this way, fill this whole sheet out, and then go in and put in the company's contact information, or as you go, you can put in the company's contact information. What do I mean by that? So what we want to do now, so we're going over this call list, and what we want to have go in here is we're manually pasting this stuff over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this, Command C, and we're literally just going to copy it over old school style. All right, so we're getting the wrong one there. We're Command C, come over here to call list, Command V, RS Electric. All right, boom, we're getting this. I'm lagging a little bit because of the screencast. So I come over here, do that, and you're just going to paste on down the row. And whenever you get the company listed on there, go ahead and highlight it. All right, we're going to highlight it green. So it's been listed on the other page. Highlight it green. Anything that's green means that it's already on this page. All right. If it's not green, it still needs to go over. That's how we have to color code these, otherwise we have no idea how to keep track of crap, okay? So make sure that it's green. Once you paste it over, we're gonna go back over here, we're gonna grab this. Man, we're lagging hardcore. My apologies. Putting this in. I hit Command Shift V, that's why I didn't bring over the color. If I hit Command Shift or just Command V, it's gonna pull over the color. So I didn't on that one, that's okay. So make sure we send that cell green. Okay, so what I need to do now is I need to find contact information. All right, so one of the cool little tricks here, what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna freeze this because I don't know this is, I wanna make sure that this is basically locked. So I'm gonna go up here, I'm gonna go to view, and I'm gonna freeze, and I'm gonna go up to the current row. That's gonna freeze down to there, so now when I scroll, ooh, it's pretty. Now I can have the column names, and I won't get lost. Company contact. All right, RS Electric. Again, you can do this one of 2 ways. You could copy them over when you're on the website. You can grab what you need while you're there and fill this out, or you can go on that whole page, come all the way down, fill it out, and then go back through like we're doing right now and go find their information. So what I'm doing right here, like Command C, Command V, popping this in. All right, RS Electric Corp. We're trying to, man, they don't even come up with their own name. Oh, it's bad. Maybe I should have grabbed their information whenever I was there. RS Electric, okay, at least I can find their website here. They're nowhere to be found on organic. This is like a premier company to call on because they have no idea what they're doing. Bless their hearts. This isn't even the same company. Wow, they can't even reconcile. Okay, RS Electric Corp. Maybe this is it. If you're watching this and this company has not been called upon yet, then you're in business. That's the same company. Okay. Electric utility. Well, shoot. RS Electric Corp. Too bad they, maybe this is it. Normally you can find, okay, this was it. This site is ranking so terribly we couldn't even Google search their own name. Man, I'm telling you what, I might call them myself to get the sale. Good Lord. Okay. Anyway, what I'm doing here is I'm trying to find an about page. I'm trying to find a team page. I'm trying to figure out who to contact and what their number is. So, here's their business phone number, but can we get anything else? Are they going to provide us with any other information to give them a call? So it looks like no. It looks like there's a contact us. Same numbers on there the whole time. We have their address. It doesn't look like we can grab an email address. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Command C, coming over here, Command Shift V. There's their phone number, and I'm going to type in general. Now, as you call on this business, and you're gonna learn this here in the next couple training videos, but you're gonna call on the business. You're gonna ask for the business owner or someone who makes the decision making and so forth, and you're gonna update this right here. Once you get their name, you have got to come in here. It could be a guy named I don't know, Mark Hill, and now you have a name. So this all Google Sheets updates in real time. That's why we use Google Sheets. So you can go in and update this at any time, and it automatically is going to let the entire team know who to call on and what's been done. But we don't know that yet. General, secondary phone. I didn't see one on here. Sometimes you usually won't get a wrong site. You won't get a secondary phone number from the website, but whenever you call, they might be like, oh, well, you know what, I am out of the office today. Go ahead and give my assistant a call. They're the ones that make the decisions anyway. Boom, that's where you're going to put the secondary phone in, and then you might even put a comment next to them and say, hey, this guy's name is Joe, this guy's name is, I don't know, Kelly, whatever it might be, all right? And then if you can manage to get an email address, try to find one. We don't like to do emailing typically, unless we absolutely have to. Looks like this is just a contact us page again. Yeah, so we're not going to get an email from them. Sometimes, I mean, if we're really trying to go after the company, we'll actually fill out their contact form, but that usually never works. I mean, we get spammed all the time with these crappy, I'll tell you what, these crappy SEO companies that go around and trying to sell SEO. Reason why we do not use SEO. We say Customer Acquisition Strategy, CAS. Okay? All right, so anyway, that's honestly all the information we have on them. The status. All right, let's talk about what the heck that means. This is how we keep track of everything that is going on with that client. Where are we in the process? A 0, this indicates that we have contacted them, but they're not interested. A 0 means that we're done with the client. We do not talk to them again, okay? A 0 means they've been called, they are not interested, and we are not going to pressure them into it, okay? So the moment you get a hang up, the moment you get a no, the moment you get a, any indication, not any indication, but once someone closes the door on you, you're putting a 0, okay? Cold lead, no contact yet. That's what most of these are. These still have to be called on. That's where right now we're going to put in a 1 because we haven't called on them. What city are we in? This was Kansas City. I just remember that from, I can easily go find that here. RS Electric Corp and go back to Missouri Companies. RS Electric Corp is in the, again, we're lagging bad, Kansas City, right there. Cool. So we're going to pull that over here. The rep, that's where if you're making the call, that's where you're going to, so if I were making the call, I would put Daniel. All right, so we have to know, this is how you get paid. If we close this deal, we're going to be able to come back here and track who the heck was the one that made the call, who was the one that made the sale. And we need to know that. So make sure that if you're calling, let's say I was going to call on this whole list today, I'm just going to go in here. I'm going to put my name. I'm going to drag my name all the way down because I'm planning on doing all those. Those are mine. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Those are mine. So I basically just claimed all those, and now I have a responsibility to call on them. All right? Cool. So let's say I find that the guy's name was Mark Hill. Cool. I contacted him. I made the call, and it was a cold lead. No contact yet. Okay, so I called, and let's say I didn't get an answer. All right. So no answer. What that tells me is I need to call again. We didn't leave a voicemail, okay? Call left voicemail is a number 5. So typically we don't want you leaving voicemails because voicemails very rarely get returned. But for whatever reason, we might be running a new test campaign this month and hey, leave voicemails. So you put a 5 there. But instead I called and nobody answered. So any 2s mean I need to call again. All right. Now, let's say I call, I get a hold of someone and they're like, hey, you know what, I'm really interested in this. I'm out and about right now. Could you maybe send me some more information? That's going to be a 3. And we'll talk about this again in another video, but typically we want to shy away from those. We want to try to get something out of the customer there at the time. If they're like, hey, I'm too busy, you know, will you email me some information? A lot of times that's going to be a dodge, which means like, hey, I'm not actually interested, but I just want to get off the phone. We want you to prod a little bit, dig a little bit. Hey, like, is this person actually interested? Because I don't want to waste my damn time if they're not interested. So we're going to teach that in another training. But anyway, 3, that's typically not a good thing. We don't usually want those 3s because that means that you didn't do a good job of prodding. Typically, you know, if they're wanting, let's go on the list actually before I answer that. So maybe it was a proposal, maybe it was a screencast video that you sent over. That could be a 4. And we're going to cover those screencast videos too. A 5, call, left voicemail. Again, we talked about that. So these scales are going to change. A setup call with Daniel or Ryan. This is kind of outdated. I'm actually going to go in here and change this right now. So let's say set up a sales call. Let's say the person was out and about and like, hey, you know, I'm really interested. Give me a call back tomorrow and let's talk. That would be a 6. And that means, hey, make sure you follow up on that. And with that, make sure that you're keeping good notes. So again, I'm going to be Daniel. Let's say each row, by the way, you're going to have to go up here, merge the cell, so we get that. Let's say I called Mark. He was very interested, Betty, very interested, and was very interested, but was out on a job. He wants me to call him back tomorrow. Make sure you date it on, let's see, today is, let's just say 2/2/2017. So he wants me to call back, and cool. So I probably would put this in my calendar. So I go down here, I'd put it in my calendar, call Mark Hill, and here's the number. And hopefully, you know, on that call, we are also going to train you to get the email so you don't go out of there dry. So you set up a sales call. Cool. Now, when you go in and follow up with that sales call, are you going to set up an in-person meeting, or are you actually going to close the sale right there on the spot? Maybe they're highly interested in their thinking. So these are, again, these scales may all change. This is just going to indicate what number to put. This could easily to highly interested thinking. It could be sent proposal, and that might be the 8. Okay, so these statuses are going to change in real time as you go through here, and this is how we keep track of everything that we're doing. Cool. So again, you're just going to copy all these down the list, make sure they turn green, and you're pretty much all set to go at this point. So here's a little directions if you get lost. Finding about us, go to the contact page, look at the footer and contact information, go to their business Facebook page. That's something we also didn't talk about. I'm not even going to try. Let's go through that real quick. Already at 47 minutes here. Hopefully, again, you're listening to this at 1.5 speed or something, so you don't have to listen to my my boring voice this long. This RS Electric Corp, that did not look too hot on the whole really digital marketing realm at all. So I'm gonna delete this. I doubt they even have a Facebook. I'm gonna go to this A-Team Electric. Click on this. Let's go back to their website. Best way to find this is usually on their website. Let's see if they have a Facebook page. Down here in the footer, yep, they do. Let's go check out their Facebook page. Sometimes we can get contact information here. Okay? So 94 people like this. This is also going to indicate how big the company is. How active are they? They haven't posted since last year. So it's 2017 right now. They haven't posted since last year. This means they probably gave up on their whole digital marketing strategy. Like, oh, everyone's doing Facebook, so we should too. And then they have no idea what they're doing. And typical service provider right there. Okay, so we've got this phone number right here. A-Team Electric. Is this matching? 1567. Oh, it's actually a different phone number. So what I would do here is I'm going to put both of those down. This is, I kind of went off the, going out here. So company contact, we don't know. I'm going to put this as the main, and then secondary is going to be on their actual website. Typically, if you're going to call their website number, that's going to be someone like a salesperson or, oh, they've got 2 phone numbers actually. They got all kinds of phone numbers. Let's just call them all. I'm going to put this as a secondary phone number. Hopefully, this one's probably going to be more of like a salesperson that might answer that. This Facebook one looks somewhat promising. Maybe it's someone who runs the social media platform. Maybe it's someone who's actually making decisions. Okay, so that was another way to maybe find contact information. There could be an email. Was there an email address in there? Message now about. Let's see all right there. Let's see if we can find an email address. Boom, baby. A-Team Electric 90 on Yahoo. That's fun. Can you see how judgmental I am in this digital marketing space? I apologize. I'm not usually this judgmental. It's just when you do it for this long and see how many people try to do something. Okay, email address. This is A-Team Electric. Pasting that in. Boom, we have one. I'm going to put a 1 here. Have not contacted them. They're in Kansas City. Basically doing your work for you right now. I hope you're happy. Just kidding. All right, I need to update that. Update that. We did not get an email address for that, so that's something we would want to collect whenever we called. A-Team Electric. Can we find a contact name? Sometimes it's just reading through here, see if there's like an owner name. If you find an owner's name, you are in business, because then you can call them up and be like, hey, can I speak with Joe, please? And it sound like you know, like act like you know the guy. And so I was like, okay. And then they'll patch you through to Joe. It's like, I heard an awesome story one time about a guy calling up Steve Jobs. And this was like early part of Apple. But guy calls in and, you know, instead of being like the typical person that calls, you know, they get a hold of the secretary or the assistant, like, could I speak with Mr. Steve Jobs, please? And they're like, who is this? Who's calling? Mr. Jobs is very busy right now. I'm sorry, I can't put you through. Instead, they were like, hey, how you doing? Can I speak with Steve, please? And they're like, oh, okay, well, you know, who's calling? And they're a lot more prone, the assistant or the secretary would be a lot more prone to actually patching them through, because it sounds like you know Steve, or you're on a first name basis. So anyway, we'll talk about that again in some later training, but if you can find the business owner's name here and act like you know them whenever you call in, like, hey, is this Joe? Oh, well, Joe, you know, and then you go into your pitch. Or if, hey, is this Joe? Or can I speak with Joe, please? And they're like, oh, well, you know, Joe's busy right now. You know, can I ask who's calling? At least you know the guy's name, you know who to get a hold of. I don't see a name here, so we don't have a name. So it's A-Team Electric. Don't have a name yet for that either, so it's going to be general. And you'd go on down the list. All right, so I realize this is kind of a long video, but that's pretty much how we keep track of people. All right, this is really bothering me that those are pink. Sorry. I'm way OCD if you haven't noticed. They're like random things that I'll just do to like make sure it all looks like just, I wasn't even just talking right there. It's just, whew. Anyway, so make sure you keep good comments, good notes in here. And that pretty much does it for this video. We're going to talk a little bit more in depth. I think we're actually going to get into here in the next videos how to do these calls, what to say on the calls, and so forth. So this is pretty much the sheet. This does it for this. If you have any questions, make sure you let us know. I realize that this sheet is not the most sophisticated thing in the world. It's a little bit more on the, I wouldn't say janky side, because it does use some logic, but the way that it moves is a little, you know, you have to manually do a lot of it. So just make sure that if you have any questions, you contact your supervisor or contact someone who may know the question or may know the answer. Maybe it's something, go to your Slack and ask some questions on there on the general channel and or the question channel, whatever channel we have it named, and we'll go from there. Cool. All right. Well, I'll see you here in the next video.